and welcome to my YouTube channel, Tony Harvin Network. I greet everybody upon this evening. This here is another video. Let's talk about it. And very interesting conversation. I posed a question to the public, why and how has social media messed up, people's lives. I greet everybody. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church, so please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now in the middle, and those who are going to catch it when it uploads to YouTube. You know what I mean? What's up to all my moderators out there? All the trolls, the haters, those going to come up here in general. And, we're just going to have a great conversation. As we normally do. We on the mobile phone, we on the mobile camera. We ain't on the StreamYard. So, what's up to C Bonetta, shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to number 33? Hope all is well with you. What's up to Levy? Shout out to you. What up to Levy? Georgina Fleming, shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Thema? Levy says I can speak a lot on this topic. That's cool. That's cool. I'm pretty sure folks out there got some thoughts, and they got some words of wisdom in reference to social media, because a lot of people tend to take social media so serious. And whatnot, and let what's going on social media ruin their lives. Even folks in the church, you understand that some people are just so caught up on social media. In general, they just live in that world. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm a social media guy, but I'm not a social media guy. At the end of the day. You know what I mean? One has to know how to utilize the platform. More so for positivity and encouragement. Whatever skills and talents you got in reference to social media, use it on here. Use it on here, for sure. I received a call today. I received a phone call today. Jay Williams, are you in here? Mr. Jay Williams, Jamon Williams, or somebody else? I think they referred me to this preacher out there in Virginia. I think his name is Cephas or something like that. Cephas. I don't know if y'all heard of this fella. He preaches at the church called True Vine Holiness or something like that. He got a couple of little shorts and videos surfacing Facebook and whatnot. That fella. He kind of preach, what the truth of God preaches, and whatnot. But we wanted to reach out to him because somebody recommended him. I can't really remember the person. A couple of months ago, we reached out to him to try to get an interview or whatever the case may be. I would say the fella's a little over righteous. You understand? It's a little bit over righteous. For the most part, and whatnot. You try to downplay social media or what a person is doing on social media, like they ain't supposed to be worrying about social media. They should be worrying about seeking the Holy Ghost. That's cool. So why you got videos up there then? You understand that? The social media platform, people could use it for positivity, or they could use it for negativity. At the end of the day. So the man tried to downplay social media, and then I had to tell him about social media that, listen, you could reach other parts of the world. You know what I mean? You're supposed to help people out here. If you're a preacher man out there, you're supposed to help people. And one of the platforms, or one of the things within technology, is social media that you could utilize. You know what I mean? So to the person who recommended Mr. Cephas, I'm not interested in him. You understand? He may preach a little something aligned with the truth of God, but he's just a little over righteous. That I don't deal with people like that. For the most part, you having the Holy Ghost don't make you better than anybody else who is seeking the Holy Ghost. Let's just get that clear. Yeah, I mean, and just because he may have the Holy Ghost, that don't mean you know. That don't mean you know. You understand? So he kind of bothered my spirit earlier, and whatnot. Kind of like how Washington was. A fella by the name of Washington who used to come on here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, when somebody bother my spirit, whatever case may be, and that's very rare. Get out of here. You understand? So to the person out there who recommended Pastor Cephas from the True Vine Holiness Center, whatever that is, in Virginia, and it seemed like he's preaching like verbatim, word for word, that the truth of God preaches, like he just plagiarizing. But we're gonna leave that alone. That's for another day. All right. Let's see where we at. What's up to Tiffany Neely? Shout out to you. What's up to Thema? All right. What's up to German? Shout out to you. What's up to Brooke? Hope all is well. What's up to SV? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Levy, you said you could speak a lot on this topic in reference to social media. How should brothers and sisters utilize social media? Should they get caught up in things that's going on social media? You know what I mean? For those who got platforms that's in the church or in the churches and whatnot, how should you utilize your social media? You know what I mean? Do you get caught up in all the nonsense out here? You know what I mean? Or do you utilize your social media platform to help encourage the people in general? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people out there, some people lost their lives dealing with social media and whatnot. You says social media could easily become a distraction. A distraction. I agree. You know what I mean? We see certain things often among church people on social media. I'm speaking in general. I'm not specifying. Going back and forth in a lot of drama, in a lot of this, and a lot of that. You know what I mean? Some people tend to let social media bother them on the outside world. When you have a mission, when you have a goal, if you have a social media platform, you know what I mean, and you are in the truth, utilize your platform for that mission to help the people out there. You know what I mean? It's no reason to allow social media to overtake what you got going on in life for the most part. All right. Fleming says all platforms should be used for the glory of God and saving souls, especially with the TOG members. I agree. You know what I mean? And some people don't take that into consideration at all. You know what I mean? They want to, and not specify anybody, they want to utilize their platform for a bunch of nonsense, mayhem, and whatnot. You know what I mean? Tiffany says, I deleted my Facebook and TikTok, never had Instagram. Always, I'm not a nosy person, but I don't understand people when they delete their Facebook. Maybe it could be too much or too overwhelming. Because I just post videos. Mainly, I just post videos, post quotes, and promote the videos and promote, what I got going on, and that's it. I may look at little funny videos here and there, but I'm not in people's mess and stuff like that. I don't go back and forth with people, in general, over my Facebook, which is like more so personal, your family, your friends, and stuff like that. You know, TikTok, I just put the Truth of God videos up, quote videos up, and call it a day. You know, that's all I do. I'm just putting up videos, promoting them, and that's mainly what I do on these platforms for sure. Even Instagram, I'm trying to utilize more of my Instagram. I don't like Instagram, but I'm trying to utilize it a little more. All right. Levy says, like Pastor says, you can use social media for good, but you have to be careful what you let influence you. If you're in the church, I've seen churches adopt worldly challenges like that fairy song. Well, I never heard of that, but I wouldn't put it past them. I remember in the false church that I was in, they adopted the ice bucket challenge. Yeah, I mean foolishness like that. They want to do foolishness. You know what I mean? That's like me coming on here. Let me do the crate challenge. You remember that challenge when they was stacking up crates and walking up it like it's steps or something like that? Foolishness. You won't see me doing nothing like that at all. A bunch of foolishness for sure. You know, folks out here is crazy. In general. All right, what's up to Charlotte Ann? Shout out to you. Levy says, some things on social media can seem innocent to the flesh, but very damaging to the spirit. Absolutely. That's a good point right there. It's a good point. I like that. You know, but some people don't look at it as that. Tiffany says, all I see is fights, women with no clothes. It was starting to upset me. Fights. Yeah, there's a lot of those on social media. You know what I mean? A bunch of fights, road rage, or somebody shooting at somebody, or, you know, prison fights and, and stuff like that. Family members arguing, friends arguing over social media. I'm speaking in general. All right, what's up to Wanda? Shout out to you. What's up to Jonah? What's up to Shelly House? Shout out to you. What's up to Sharon Henry? You says, greetings, brothers and sisters. Blessings and peace. Right back at you. Fleming says, social media is important contributor, unfortunately, to a lot of people's pains and struggles. Pains and struggles. That's some deep stuff right there. Levy says, their excuse is typically we have to reach the people however we can. Something I never understood, because to me that seems like compromising. Absolutely. You know, a lot of church people want to do what the world does. You know, for example, Jamal Bryant. You want to, you know, partake in some type of weed business or something like that. For what? You don't need to do all that. You don't need to do that. You know what I mean? They want to go above and beyond. You know what I mean? You see the Kirk Franklins out there. They want to team up with Glorilla. They want to team up with these ratchet rappers. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. You know, it's crazy out here. Look at, what is his name? T.D. Jakes. Want to hang out them parties with Diddy and whatnot. You know, one don't need to do all that to reach people. If a so-called preacher, if he claims that he's anointed by God and stuff like that, you don't need to result into that type of stuff. You know what I mean? You gonna listen, the Lord gonna give you the gift, right? All right, what's up to AG? You says funny. You says funny was in that live earlier, and wifey discreetly asked hubby what his outfit was doing. He came back and things were not jiggy. Jiggy? Jiggy? I ain't hear that word since the 90s. Said jiggy. What up, AG? What's up to Anthony Nelson? Shout out to you. Plant-based. Shout out to you. What's up to Gino P? Shout out to you. Absolutely, man. I wanted to knock out a live early. You understand? See if we could get some rest possibly, or something else, whatever comes to mind. What's up to Tanya Renee? Shout out to you. Hope all is well with you at Tanya Renee. Excuse me. Appreciate you for coming on here. Ooh. Wow. You gotta forgive me. I woke up from a nap not too long ago, and whatnot before the live. All right. SV says social media could be used positively too, though, because the first time I've seen Pastor Jennings was when some of his videos went viral on Facebook in 2018. Wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, Gino P, did you ever hear about this Pastor Cephas? However you pronounce his name, from Virginia? So absolutely, SV, same here. That's kind of the same thing I was like explaining to this pastor earlier. Well, he calls himself a pastor over the phone. He called me. He tried to downplay social media. You understand? And I had to let him know, man. Once I had to let him know, we tried to come back and say, oh, well, social media is good, whatever. Yeah, it is good to reach people. If you are an anointed pastor, you want to reach as many people as possible because you got the truth, right? You know what I mean? Right? He says no. Who's that? And somebody was telling me about this cat, Pastor Cephas from Virginia. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's identical videos of him teaching that's lined up with the truth of God. You know what I'm saying? A young fella from Virginia. And a couple of months ago, I reached out to their church to try to get him on here for an interview. And then he reached out earlier. You know what I mean? While I was at work. And, he was a little over righteous for the most part. Listen, I just want to interview, man. You understand? Simple as that. PJ said, listen, when you talk to people, be cool, be normal. You don't got to act all over righteous, man. You understand? So, I found him a little over righteous over the phone. He may be preaching some truth. Fella. So you can look him up if you like, but I thought you may have known about him. All right. Tanya Renee, today is going along good. Anthony Nelson says, could you live without social media? Absolutely. Absolutely. Some people can. Why? Because they be on it 24/7, not for positive reasons or business reasons, because some people utilize social media as work. You understand? So they need to work to make their money. All right, cool. But for those who don't utilize social media for business purposes or for to help encourage the people, those who just go on social media 24/7 just for nonsense purposes. You know what I mean? I think, what was that social media platform that shut down for a bit? TikTok? I think Facebook had some problems one day too. Oh man. People went in a frenzy over TikTok, Facebook, when it shut down for a bit or whatever was going on. Man, me personally, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. But some people, man, they go crazy. Listen, they go crazy without social media. They go crazy without their phone. Listen, we from the payphone era. You hear me? We from the payphone era. Some of us is from the beeper era. Or on a porch era. You gotta understand, a lot of people, they was born into having a cell phone. Born into just being on social media right off the bat. And they don't know how it is to just chill on the porch or anything like that. They on their phones all day. You know what I mean? They don't know how it is back in the day on the porch eating crab legs and playing in the fire hydrant and, you know, playing football in the street, playing tops. You know, playing tops in the hood. You know what I mean? They just on their phone all day. We talking about them people all day, every day. Just looking, being nosy. You know what I mean? Being nosy. Right? Biblical instructions before leaving Earth. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to LC? SV says at headquarters not long ago, someone testified that they first seen Pastor Jennings on TikTok and now he attend headquarters. Wonderful. Wonderful. You understand? And that's a great thing. You know, for those out there who's utilizing their platforms to push out the truth, to push out the videos, or to talk about the message. You know what I mean? It's other ways to push out the truth. One don't have to come off as a preacher. One don't have to come off as a minister to push out the truth. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to put out videos on your platform. It's not hard to talk about them. It's not hard to do. You know, not everybody, but a lot of people think that, man, if I don't come off as a preacher, I won't, you know, reach anybody. It's not the case. All right. AG says church adds social aspect that could be doing too much. Went to a church and to recognize birthdays. Church sang a birthday song. Sounds great though, you wrote. Fleming says, sad to say, there is an increase in depression for many on social media. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, some people get depressed over social media. They cry over social media things. Cry? Is it that serious that a person can shed tears over something in reference to social media? Social media is that deeply rooted in a person that their emotions get hurt if people keep talking about them? You know what I mean? Is it that serious? I'm trying to understand. And I'm talking about folks who really be on social media. You know what I mean? Now, it's different if one confining somebody like a brother or sister and they do something on social media. You know what I mean? It could hurt them because they may have had a connection of sisterhood or brotherhood. That's something different. But if Jeff from Africa say stuff about you, you don't even know him, you're shedding tears, you're worrying about what people say about you over social media, it's messing up your everyday life because of something somebody said. You don't know who that person is. It could be a 10-year-old playing like an adult. You know what I mean? It's like that on here. You know, folks pose as an adult on here. You know what I mean? They may have a name, Mario and Luigi. You know, talk normal everything. And then say some stuff about the YouTube or the person. And, you know, the other person may just get upset, get hurt. Yeah, I would never let anybody allow it. You understand that? For anybody on social media, it doesn't matter who it is. You ain't supposed to let anything get to you. Nothing. You know what I mean? Otherwise, man, listen, this is an everyday thing that people are going to say stuff about you. If you are, you know, if you're a Facebooker or TikToker or a YouTuber, you gotta be ready for people's negative comments. You know what I mean? Because if you can't handle little stuff, if a person can't handle little stuff over social media, how you gonna handle stuff on the outside? How? You know, how can folks get depressed over social media? Really? Is it that bad? Is it that serious? To me, it ain't that serious. Once I get off the lives or putting out videos, man, I'm like, whatever, man. You know, folks actually think I may be thinking about them. No, I don't. You know, as far as like the trolls, you're gonna have trolls, you're gonna have haters, you're just gonna have those type of people. Even if you're a person commenting in the chat room, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have those type of people on you. If you're in a chat room and you're going back and forth with a person, that stuff shouldn't bother you. That stuff shouldn't bother you at all, man. Just, you don't even know this person. They don't know you. You probably never saw them. Nothing. You know what I mean? You probably think that's their real name, but it's not. Somebody come on here with a name, I don't know, Michael Scott. He come on here for 5 years. You thinking it's his name. You know what I mean? He's getting you upset. It might be a woman named Lisa Marie or something like that. You don't know. You know what I mean? All right. Jonah says, I guess you're referring to Bob T. You say you're doing well, just been taking time away from social media. What's up, the Capricorn? You says, do you think that sometimes people cannot be humble? I agree. Correct. Too much pride. They feel as though they got to prove something. A lot of people got too much pride. They don't have no humility. And that's what Gino preaches a lot about, his character. That's why I learned a lot about humility from him. You understand? And you probably see it within so-called church people. They got too much pride. Too much. What's up, the Carl Walker? Shout out to you. Tiffany Nealon says, we didn't know nothing about the seafood broil back in the day. AG said, yeah, TikTok uses Fin when it shut down. Lots of searchable topics there, even car repair. Oh, yeah. Fleming says, suicide and loneliness on a high. It's crazy. Suicide. You know, some folks unalive themselves over social media for social media reasons. You know what I mean? Some people are just worrying about likes. You know, clout is a big time drug for people. Some people just love clout. And if they ain't getting a certain amount of clout, whether it's likes, comments, they get depressed. They feel as though nobody loves them anymore. Is it that serious? You know what I mean? Folks love attention. And it's terrible when it's like parallel to the usage of drugs, because you got folks, you know, they hook to it. They hook to attention, they hook to clout. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So yes, some people have unalived themselves over social media for social media reasons. You know what I mean? All right, Epic says, I'm at work reading the chat, but I had the most fun before social media era. You said you're talking about Polaroid pictures. Where you get Tom about from? You ain't from Jersey. Where you get that from? Let me find out you from Jersey. Tom about. What you know about that word? What's up, Latoya? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. AG says, Mr. Trump extended TikTok for another 90 days, still waiting for a U.S. buyer. A U.S. buyer. Maybe the truth of God about TikTok. Truth of God about TikTok. Everything will be holding this on there. Everything. You understand? Imagine that. TikTok for sale. You know? Truth of God by it. Oh man, wouldn't that be something? SV says, nowadays some people commit unalivement over social media, over so-called cyberbullying. Yep. Cyberbullying. Wow. You know what I mean? And I don't know how people can take cyberbullying serious. I don't take it serious. I could care less about it. But you know, a lot of people are sensitive. It's not an excuse at all. If a person gets upset, if you can't handle things that's being said over social media, one don't need to be on here at all. They don't. If a person mindset and heart set comes to the point where as though they want to unalive themselves, they don't need to be on social media. They really don't. Stay away from it. Stay far away from social media. You know? All right. Gino P says, I'm really grateful for your channel, for pushing the message. I thank God for you never switching up. Appreciate that, Gino P. Appreciate that. Ain't no Craig G. Sell over here. Ain't no Mr. Washington over here. Or Nikki Palmer. Nakira Palmer, that's her name. You know, former members who have switched up because they found it something hard to understand something, or they disagreed and they want to attack the message instead of humbling themselves and learning more about it. You know what I mean? Folks don't understand. Yes, this stuff is tough. You know, a lot of things is hard to come up to. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sit back and say, listen, man, these folks out here are false. I just got to kick back and learn more and sit down and pray on things. You know, switching up. Of course, the enemy comes in here or email me. Well, you should put up some of our stuff and take Gino down. No. You know what I mean? They could offer me millions of dollars. I think somebody tried to offer me like 2.5 million years ago. I didn't put out. Did I put out that video? I don't think so. Fella came to me offering $2.5 million for the first channel. 2.5 million. Yeah, I mean, I can't find the email. Otherwise, I probably did a video on it. We still here. You know what I mean? We still pushing out the truth and whatnot. Because listen, you got a skill, you got a talent on social media. That's why I tell people who got social media platforms, utilize your skills, your talents. If you're a singer or you write poetry, you know how to cook, sew, you know how to fix cars, fix phones, construction. I think Jeremiah Williams, I think he's in you know, construction and stuff like that, you know. Brother Darren Vincent, a good chef over there at the main temple. You know what I mean? Folks got talents and skills. You got sisters creating apparel for holiness women, making clothing, designing clothing. Utilize your social media platform. You know, there's a lot of talent with people in the truth of God. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of people who got talent in the truth of God. A lot. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people got Facebook and they got the brothers and sisters on there, but they got a lot of talent. You understand? Especially during the conventions, especially during the, I believe, the end of the year service. When they have the vendors, you know what I mean? A lot of brothers and sisters, talented, creating candles and stuff like that. Soaps, juices, you know what I mean? Hair coverings, long dresses, modest. You know, barbers, you know, fellas who know how to cut hair, like really cut hair, who utilize it as a profession. You know what I mean? Folks who are personal trainers. You teachers, lawyers, doctors, a lot of talented people in the truth of God. And some of those people, they have their social media platforms and they utilize it for that. You know what I mean? They put their skill and talent up there and show the people. And then you can merge over the truth in there somewhere. You know what I mean? What's up to Sion? Capricorn says, do people really make a lot of money for podcasts? Well, I'm not going to really dabble into that. It all depends, because some people got backing. They got a money man. They got a company with them. Some people are independent. But a lot of people got, money men, companies behind them, and whatnot. But if a person got a podcast like Joe Budden, Joe Rogan, Shannon Sharp, Gillian Wallow, Nori, you understand, stuff like that. What if they would have utilized it for holiness? You know how many people they could reach, but they rather use it for the devil. So it all depends what they pushing out on their channel. It all depends. They might be selling merchandise, their shirts or membership and things like that. It all depends. It all depends. Even if a person got a small channel, they can make it just as much as the big channels. It all depends. You gotta understand, if a person got 1,000 views, just 1,000 views on a video, it could be 1,000 people versus one person watching it 1,000 times. One has to understand that one too. Or some of them channels, they buy views. You know what I mean? So it all depends. At the end of the day, is this person or those people working to get it organically? You know what I mean? Because it's better if 1,000 people is watching a video, 1,000 views, because it's coming from different computers and laptops, versus one person watching 1,000 times. YouTube is not going to count. They ain't going to count, the amount as far as it's going to the commercials often. It won't be better, or it won't be even equal to 1,000 people watching it, and it has 1,000 views versus one person watching it 1,000 times. So some people got to understand that one right there. All right, if a person got 300,000 views, is it 300,000 people watching it that one time, or is it 1,000 people watching it to the amount for it to hit 300,000 views? So it's a lot of mathematics too and stuff like that. All right, predominantly Gossip Central. Georgina Flemings wrote Gossip Central. What's up to GV? What's going on? Shout out to you. Gino P says, one YouTuber unalive another YouTube over viewer beef. Yeah, that can happen too. That can happen too. YouTubers going at it. You know what I mean? YouTubers going at it. Going to each other's houses. Fighting over YouTube stuff. Fighting over likes and views and stuff like that. Oh, you stole a couple of people from my channel. They're on your chat, in your chat room. I want to fight. Is it that serious? Is it that serious? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure some people heard of Hassan Campbell. He kind of toned down a little bit. He told another YouTuber, Doggy Diamonds, I'm going to knock you out and sodomize you. Is it that serious? Is it that serious? You're gonna knock the man out and then you're gonna sodomize him? Wow. Doggy Diamonds, a grown man named Doggy Diamonds. Wow. So what happens? You know, YouTubers beef about likes and comments and stuff like that. You know? All right. Fleming says parents need to invest their children in doing things more productive and get them involved in a community. Good point. But you know, places like North Carolina, they have a lot of like, I don't know, apartments. It's a lot. It's different from back home in Jersey. Like, I call back home Jersey a community because, you know, you got houses and blocks. Come on, Gino P, no? Houses and blocks. Over here in North Carolina, it's like it's very different. It's hard to explain. You know, but I definitely understand what you are referring to. Cappy Khan said, it's this one young lady that has a podcast. She had a very big effect on people. They actually wanted to be her. Wow. You said they wanted to be her. Appreciate that at Shelly House. GV says social media is a joke for me. You wrote that. Fleming says, not everyone has your mindset. People take things differently, and everyone is different on how they deal with words or what's being said about them. That's crazy. Over social media. I mean, folks that you don't even know. Folks that they don't even know. That's crazy. All right. Shelley House said, too much pride can hurt a person's walk with God. I agree with that one. Epic says, social media friends generally lack emotional intelligence. They all AI. AI. What's up, Mr. Dunbar? Marcia. Fleming said, teens are spending hours and hours and hours on these apps. That's not fruitful or means them good. What's up with Solid Ground? Who says, social media is a green light to be as ignorant or intelligent as one desire. You can't take this stuff serious. Wow. Wow. Gino P says, TikTok presents First Church. Absolutely. Anthony Nelson said, didn't someone from social media ran up on Gino at a gas station? That, I don't know about it being a social media thing. You know? Because I remember, I think they started posting before that. I'm not too sure. But if the fella seen it on social media, he was upset that his quote-unquote so-called wife left him over the teachings. And I guess, you know, he got the information what Gino was preaching at and, you know, was keeping eyes when he left the place and followed him. That's crazy. All right. Dunbar says, scripture says to gird up your loins. He said, like a man. Wonderful. He also stated that we sit under a real apostle that is a strong man made by God. Wonderful. Fleming says, can you believe a 5-year-old wanting to post pictures on social media because he or she hears other preschoolers doing this? Yep. And you know what? The sad thing is some parents allow that to happen. They allow a 5-year-old to have an Instagram. They allow it to happen without them monitoring it. You understand? If you got stuff like, you know, these kid shows or, you know, you got kid actors and things of that nature, and they may need social media for business purposes. You know what I mean? Business purposes or whatever. Kid athletes and stuff like that. All right, parents, monitor it. Monitor it. You know what I mean? But they allow their kids to run rampant, to run their own social media account. And they put up a bunch of nonsense. You know, you see some of these mothers out here on social media making videos, twerking with their 3-year-old daughter. Why are you putting that stuff up there? You know what I mean? They do that stuff. Dress the little girl like a thought. You understand? I don't even like my daughters in bikinis. No. I don't like that. I hate it. You understand? It's a no-no. You know what I mean? Don't listen. Don't even post pictures of them like that. You bet not. You know what I mean? Gotta protect the kids from if the other. Listen, some parents, other parents, they think it's okay. All right. You think it's okay? If you don't want to take it down, I'll report it. You hear me? You don't want to give these devils out here any type of energy to have wicked thoughts. No way. No way. And you see some of the fellas on social media. I think it's one rapper. What is his name? His name is Finesse 2 Times. Had a kid rapping in his videos. All type of stuff. Wow. That's crazy. They be having chains and fake tattoos on a 3-year-old son. Trying to look like a rapper. Pants sagging. A fake blunt. Could be a real blunt. In the 3-year-old mouth. Taking a picture. And people sharing it on social media. Oh, this is cute. How cute. What? Stupid people. Face tattoos, whether it's fake or real, on a 4-year-old boy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So the parents, a lot of them parents are putting up stuff like that. They putting up that stuff. They think it's funny. They think it's cute. You know? It's crazy. What's up with David B? And Maxwell? Absolutely at Gino P. Jonas says, code of conduct, social media. You're referring to the bylaws by First Church of our Lord Jesus Christ, Truth of God. Brothers and sisters should not idle their time away on social media, become obsessed with or spend excessive time on these platforms, whether it be actively posting or simply browsing, especially when the time may be better spent in prayer, fasting, meditation, or pursuing the Holy Ghost. You wrote. Amen to that. Fleming says some steps are in place, but way more needs to be implemented. I'm one of the best, what is that, phlebotomists you'll ever want to meet. Anybody want to learn how to draw blood? Drawing blood. Interesting. Mr. Dunbar says, Sister Pretty Nikwi. Let me look that up. Pretty Nikwi. Or Nika? Sounds familiar. Let's look the name up on social media. All right. Oh, okay. I know who that is. I know who that is. I think she was in college one time for that stuff. I remember her from the meetings, and whatnot. You know? Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see. Analyze. She haven't dropped nothing in 2 months. But it's pretty positive from what I'm looking at. Build a following, community, business, legacy. All right, cool. Not a problem. Yeah, it's a pretty cool page. You know. Shelly House says, is it hard to reach Pastor Jennings if you want to speak with him? No. No. You know what I mean, we talk once in a while, but you know, hey, like Gino, he gave an example of him and Williams. He said they ain't on the phone all day. You know what I'm saying? When you know when you talk to Gino, it's almost like, how you doing? What's up? Woo woo, blah blah, blah, blah. All right, cool, peace. 2-3 minutes. You know. So I'm that type of person too. I don't like to be sitting on the phone, holding the phone all day. That's just me. You know. But I know a lot of people probably, you know, pulling on him left and right, right and left. You understand? I was watching a video the other day. I titled it "Respect My Privacy." He was talking about how people go on social media and, you know, search for his number. Somebody had called his wife one time because they got the number from you know, social media or the internet, personal number. Let me see. All right, what's up? The better days, he says, gone are the days when couples talk over disagreement privately. Now social media, know before your spouse. Strange. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, folks who are married or dealing with somebody, and whatnot, you know, they try to air dirty laundry. Just like the we was dealing with a couple of months ago or whatever, last year, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? They want to go back and forth with stuff. I mean, I could put out a whole lot of dirty laundry on here, but for what? That's not the way to do it. You know, folks who got kids' mother or kids' father talking about it left and right over social media. It's crazy. I never understood people like that. You know, look at the Papoose situation. Yeah, they're talking about each other over social media. Okay, so what? You still gotta meet with each other for the kids' purposes. You know what I mean? All they doing, right, is you're gonna have the teachers, you're gonna have the other kids in the school that the kids is going to. And some people are just ignorant, talking about their own wife or own spouse over social media. Listen, keep people out your business. You know what? I might talk about it on Facebook later. Keep people out your business, especially your marriage business. Keep folks out of it over social media. You know what I mean? That's what people, they love all that drama stuff. They love it. Good point right there, though. Epic says, people generally want to like others who are liked. He says, me, I could care less. To know me is to love me. You wrote at Epic. Appreciate that comment. At Epic. What's up to Jesus Christ, who I fear? All right, Jonah, another bylaw you wrote. You says, code of conduct. Brothers and sisters are not to use their social media accounts as a way to, what's that? Subtly throw off on other members. Jonah. Backbite or gossip about others. All right, listen, that's my first time seeing that one, man. Wow. That's my first time hearing and seeing about that bylaw. That's a rough one. You said brothers and sisters should not argue or go back and forth with other brothers and sisters on social media. Wow. That's a good one. I learned something. You know what I mean? And I think I've been doing a pretty good job on that. I think I've been doing a pretty good job on that. I think, but sometimes it could be a little hard. You want to pop shot, here and there, but that's a good one for sure. At Brother Jonah, appreciate that. All right, Mr. Dunbar says, Brother Jonah, some members should pay attention to that bylaw. Interesting. All right, David B says, LOL, say that we recruit Bro Jonah to preach the bylaws. He said to preach the bylaws. What's up, the Mercy Car? Shout out to you. Suzanne Miller. Leo says social media can be the biggest distraction from your own personal walk in life. Absolutely. Shelly House says, I started posting because of you, and I'm still learning, but I didn't do it to make money, but to help people. I mean, that's cool. I mean, people got their own reasons to start a platform, or whatever the case may be. And if a person decides to get to a level where as though they can monetize their channel, I mean, hey, it's cool. I feel as though they put in the work with the uploading and the editing, because you could utilize those funds to get certain equipment and software for your channel to help of the betterment of your channel, learning different things on how to create thumbnails and different graphics and stuff like that, or to utilize those funds to give to the church. I think World Made Simple, was it him? I think the funds he was making, he was sending to the church. You understand? That'd be a good thing. And I know YouTube, if you're putting up reuse content, they won't allow you to get it monetized. You know what I mean? It will only allow it if there's proof. If there's some type of proof, let's just say if you're putting up the church material and stuff like that, and then you get some type of proof from the cameraman. You know what I mean? And World Made Simple, I think he was sending all the money to First Church. That'd be a good thing. That was a good thing. It could be another way to help fund things in the church. For whatever's needed. It's channels like that. If you putting out the Truth of God, not your own content, but if you putting out the Truth of God video straight up, and all those funds just go straight to the church. There was another person, I think it was another person doing that also. You know what I mean? And whatever funds they made from the church videos, per se, send it to the church. You understand? It's another good thing. That the platforms could be used for. Okay, if a person can make money off of social media, all right, we could do it this way and send all the money to the church. But you got some folks out there that I ain't gonna send my money. You know what I mean? But this is why you gotta have loyal people. You know what I mean? Trustworthy people. If somebody is giving you their material and the authorization to make monetary funds off of it, and say, listen, send all the funds, I'm just hypothetically speaking, or if a person feels as though in their heart, listen, I'm going to send all the money to the church, and then one day they let the devil influence them to keep it all. There's a lot of thieves in churches in general, or not sincere people. But some people just have platforms just because, which is cool. That's fine. That's cool at the end of the day, But yeah, it's a lot to learn about, posting videos and doing certain videos and conversations, and once you get it, it just comes like this. You just get it. Therefore, now you're dropping videos on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You know what I mean? And then you'll be on a live. I mean, this wasn't an overnight thing. You know what I mean? We operate on, quite a bit platforms, putting out videos on a day-to-day basis. YouTube is just one outlet that I post on. You got dailymotions.com, you got rumble.com, you got TikTok, you got Facebook, you got Instagram. You know what I mean? That the videos goes up on. You know what I mean? So once a person really get it, it'll become, like second nature to you. Mr. Jeremy says, I know you got some good AC. I said that sweater being on in this heat. Absolutely. Oh yeah, it was a heat wave out here in North Carolina. You know what I mean? I think certain people, if they're in a certain health condition, it wouldn't survive out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, this AC is on. Is central air is feeling great. Epic says, to be honest, you says, and many people won't be. He says people who say that social media isn't real life just might be admitting they live double lives or triple or more. Because who is making those posts and videos you wrote? David B says, there was a YouTuber that unalived a husband and wife YouTubers while they were streaming, I believe in Vegas. I think did that came out recently? Let me see. Let me look that up right quick. Yep. This happened recently. Las Vegas Strip shooting that unalived man and wife was live streamed by victims. Okay. Wow. I'm just reading, speed reading. Self-defense. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy for sure. I don't see a motive on anything. Nah, I don't see a motive. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Oh, so the shooter. So a YouTuber, unalive another YouTuber. Was that what it is? Because the news story is stating that the husband and wife was YouTubers or something like that, and the shooter was a YouTuber. Wow. YouTube beef out in these streets. YouTube beef. Is it that serious? YouTube beef in Las Vegas on the Strip. That's crazy. Over clicks and likes. But you'll be surprised who you'll run into. You'll be surprised. You'll be real surprised, for sure. Let me see. What's up to Sion? Shout out to you. Dunbar says it was 102, and where you at? He said you guys work clothes in the freezer. Wow. The Jew says social media is not for everyone. I agree with you on that. We good? We good? Check, check. We good? Let me know. Cool. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. You know? Where was I? All right, Gino P. You wrote a lot of predators be on them kids' Instagram and Facebook accounts. He says, I thought you were an AI. I don't know what happened. Let me check the weather right quick, man, just to see if it's going to storm. All right, so we back, and we back with some more conversation. So absolutely, at Gino P, it do be a lot of predators and stuff like that on them accounts. It's a sad, sick thing, man. It's sad when you got grown men that's plotting on kids, that they have to use social media. You know what I mean? They have to, a 50-year-old man playing like he's a 14-year-old boy to try to lure kids in. All right. Let me see. What's up, the Drago? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. We're just looking. What's up to Michelle? Shout out to you. Fleming said children on social media have a loss of childhood independence and trust. The impact of hyperconnectivity and the decline in social interaction, smartphones or social media becoming the norm. You wrote at Georgina Flemings. The Jew says, what does Pastor Gino say on what grandparents' job engagement is? I'm just wondering because mom be overstepping boundaries. Well, direct videos on that I haven't got to, but it is a video out titled Children and Parents. There is a video out. You go check out on YouTube. Capricorn says, if you had my grandmother, you would be mad every day. She said stuff about packing up. She didn't like Daisy Duke shorts or shirt tight, dresses, tattoos. My grandmother didn't play. What's up to TNT? Shout out to you. What's up to Marlon? Shout out to you. You says, did you hear about the church shooting in Michigan? If you're talking about when the vehicle crashed in and somebody came out shooting, I heard about it, but I didn't fully look into it. You know? What's up to Jermaine Crowder? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Not a problem, at Jermaine. Colin says, ignorant and selfish while the kids suffer as a result of their actions. Shelly House says, people don't just talk about you on social media, but also behind the scenes. And the bad part is they don't even know you. But because you aren't like them, it becomes a problem for them. He says, not me. Wonderful. Wonderful. GMP says, them bylaws are rough for sure. You got that right. Very rough. You know? Let's see. Epic says you need a talk show. The people in pain. Me, a talk show? I don't know about all that. A talk show. I don't know. Listen, I don't think I could do it. You know, I'd rather stay right here doing the lives. You understand? Or making videos, or whenever they decide to have the Truth of God social media people to do some interviews. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I remember them talk shows with Ricky Lake and Geraldo and Jenny Jones and Richard Bay. I wouldn't be able to deal with them type of people in the audience and stuff like that. You know? Levy says social media make people comfortable in saying things they typically wouldn't say in person. I agree with that. What's up to Roxanne? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Mar? He says, before I believed that Jesus Christ was my Savior, I thought I could influence people on social media to change the world. You can get in big trouble with the government if you are good at it. Mercy Carr, he says, I believe just enjoy your social media to uplift someone when they are down with positive input. I agree with that. Because you never know what somebody is going through. You know what I mean? And you could have a conversation or a video that could uplift that person. Or you could encourage them to go watch, the preacher man out there that's preaching the truth. That might encourage them. You never know. A lot of people out there, they like to listen to negative stuff every day, all day. Every day, all day. They want to hear YouTubers argue all day. Cursing each other out. They listen to that type of stuff all day. Then on top of that, they following the Diddy trial. All day, every day. Now, it's cool to get some knowledge about it, but some people are really in too deep with the Diddy trial. Then they watching YouTubers fight. Then they in too deep with this gossip. Or in too deep with that gossip. Another situation happened. A battle rapper caught a siege on stage. Wow. Wow. I hope them people took heed. That video went viral. I seen that video. Battle rapper just dropped. Like he dropped dead. Like he was about to drop dead. In the middle while he was rapping. I hope them people took heed to that. You know what I mean? I hope they took it as a sign. It doesn't matter where you at. You know what I mean? So he better thank the Lord that he's still alive. Because that could have went ugly for that fella. You know what I mean? No exempts. I think I was listening to, y'all remember this one. Y'all remember this video, if I still got it on this one. Yep, this video right here. This video right here is deep. Deep right here.
You out of here looking at my old face. You better get right with God.
If that would have came on when he dropped, they should have played that in that arena. Smack DVD, if you was listening, you should have played this right after he dropped like that.
That's right. Life is not promised to you. Long life. God have your time of arrival recorded. And God have your time of departure recorded. That's right. I listen to the old troublemaker. That's right. Amen. I grew up with. They buried him today. 1 year older than me. Last week, my youngest brother, was with them that Thursday. Him and some other gentlemen from the old neighborhood I grew up in Huntington Park. They was with them that Thursday night. By Friday, my brother got a call by Friday night, 9:30. He dropped dead. My Lord. Dropped dead. Amen. I talked to my third oldest brother on the way here. I said, did you go to the funeral? He said, Gene, I hate I went. He said it was so sad.
Wow. deep right there. All right. Shelly House, he says a lot of people wouldn't even have a channel in holiness without you encouraging us. Appreciate that. You know, I thank the Lord for the talent and the skill. So, you know, I like to help people. That's my thing. I like to help people. And I think it should be more people in holiness with platforms, of course, to utilize it for the positive side. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of wickedness over the internet. You know what I mean? I like to encourage the brothers and sisters to, you know, push forth whatever talent you got over the internet. And then, you know, we can also merge over the videos or encouragement for folks to listen to, you know, to the God-sent preachers out there that's preaching the truth. You know what I mean? I know some people may have been shy the first time. You know what I mean? Shy. You're so used to being in a chat room. Once you go live or make a video, they say, this is different, man. This is real different. I'm about to click this live button. It's going to be my first time. I breathe. You know what I mean? Those out there who got YouTube channels, your first time going live. I know you're like, this is totally different from typing in the chat room. You know what I mean? But you can do it. You know, hold a conversation with the people and whatnot, and whatever topic or whatever creativity you got in reference to making videos. Hey, it's all good. You know. All right. Where we at? Appreciate that at Fleming's. What's up to Yoki? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Corinda? Shout out to you. What's up to J.A.? All right, Levy says social media has created a society where people don't even know their true selves. They get too caught up in their persona. Absolutely. All right. Since Stu, as I'm looking at my current messages versus the previous ones, you says greetings to everyone in the chat. I only watch YouTube, and I can say it messed up my life in a good way. When I came across the Truth of God videos, in fact, it was your channel. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. What is that? AG. I don't know what you're talking about. That was just a dumb comment, and I'm glad it was deleted. You understand? Appreciate it. Appreciate that. First said, you stole my content. Wow. I'm still in his content, talking from my own human body. I'm still in the person's content by talking from my own human body. Wow. Pretty interesting. You know? Pretty interesting. Asher. Corinda says, I think social media has made a lot of people numb to the loss of human life. All the videos of unalive bodies people post is just terrible, and people seem unbothered by it. You're right. You're right about that. You know, they put these videos up, and they don't put it up for educational purposes. They put it up to glorify it. Like World Star. You know what I mean? World Star. On one hand, they want to, you know, okay, power to the people. Next minute, they putting on videos glorifying people getting shot up. You know what I mean? And they don't use it for, okay, we need to stop this crime in the communities. They don't word it like that on World Star. I mean, they had this one fella, I think it was in Philadelphia. Kid come running down the block, shooting up the place. Shot one fella, he on the ground. He chasing after another. The other one shot in the leg. Went up the block, came back, and kept shooting the guy. The second guy who was shot went down the block and finished the job on the first one. Glorifying that stuff. You know what I mean? People glorifying fights, street fights. You know what I mean? It's crazy. All right. Colin says monetize murder and mayhem. Good point. Good point. Good point. All right. Fleming says social media can be toxic. We just got to be careful of what we allow to enter our hearts. Break certain addictions, such as being hooked on the internet. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Colin Spencer says, and they trying to bring the same versus formula against preachers. All right, Levy says social media has made people feel more important than they are. Yep. Number 30 says those people still would have brushed off. They don't care. Lord help us. Fleming says draining our brain battery. Our brain battery in reference to social media. That's a good one right there. At Georgina Flemings, I appreciate that for sure. All right. Read that. Shelley House says, I don't like going live all the time, only once in a while, because people feel you should follow their content. However, I have my own style, and if you don't like it, stay out. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way here. You know what I mean? And, just do your own thing. You got to remember that it's over 8 billion people in this world. You know what I mean? It's over 8 billion people in this world, and it's enough people out there to do your own thing, for sure. Oh, man, I might have messed. We good? We good? Check. Let me know if we good. Let me know if we good out there. All right, cool. All right. Corinna says, yes, 1 week I saw videos of bodies from a plane crash, then a car crash, bodies flying from it, and the Mexican influencer unalive on her TikTok, and the videos are reshared over and over. Wow. That's something right there. Levy says, social media has made it easier for scammers. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that one. Oh, yeah. What's up, the Grip Q? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? Definitely appreciate that for sure at Grip Q. We want to see how much time we got. And then we're going to knock off. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, you said headquarters Tuesday live stream is on. All right. I guess we could wrap this thing up. Service is on. And we had a great conversation today. And God bless everybody out there. I hope everybody have a wonderful night. If I didn't get to your comments, please forgive me. Lord willing, we'll be on tomorrow with some more good conversation in general. You know what I mean? And I appreciate everybody for coming on here, you know, those in the background. And I hope everybody have a wonderful sleep and good night. And God bless to you all out there. I'm out. Peace. Um,